Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show where we are going to talk about Desi parenting. And with me is Navneet Gill. And would love to know more about you, Navneet. So, could you just tell us and all our audience about yourself?
Thanks, Prithika. I'm so glad that we were able to collaborate. So my name is Navneet. I'm in Calgary. I've been an occupational therapist for 20 years, 20 plus years, but I always had an interest in psychology. So I recently finished my master's in counseling psychology and I've launched my own practice.
Oh, that's great. And having interest in psychology is really, really important.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself
Yeah,
and
so
what you
I
do.
I am Dr. Pratika, and I am a child psychologist, also a play therapist. I've been working in this field for past 5.5 years. So I love kids. So and they are very nice to me, and I feel young to be with them because I get to know all the good things and bad things what's happening in their life, and they always guide me. I sometimes, so I get to learn a lot from them.
Learn
So
about all the cool stuff.
yeah, cool stuff and all the cool things which have started trending and all that. So yeah, I can say I am a kid with them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So, what sort of sparked your passion? Have you always wanted to work with kids?
Actually, growing up, I wanted to be pediatric. But 10th grade was not that good. So
Mm,
I went into humanities, and that time I was like thinking about what can I do. And they say, "Na, God gives you the way." So child psychology interested me, and somewhere I'm fulfilling my dream of pediatrics. So here I am a child psychologist and I am with the kids. And most importantly, children and teens have a lot to tell, but there's nobody to listen. And as I was growing up, there wasn't a psychologist in my school. So there was
yeah,
so much that we kids faced, but there was nobody to listen to. So I thought, why not I be that person for the other kids? So that's why I thought that child psychology is my field.
absolutely. And especially being in India, there's such a need. There's such a need all over the world, but as we're seeing.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm,
right.
mm-hmm. All right.
So, what topic is close to your heart, Navneet?
So I primarily wanted to work in our community. That was sort of always my dream. So when I was sort of setting up my practice, I really reflected on my own journey. And what resonated most with me was sort of navigating my Punjabi culture with Western society and growing up here, having immigrant parents, going through the system, growing up in Canada. So that really resonated with me. And that's how my East meets West niche came to be in my practice.
Oh, that's really nice. So,
Well,
originally you're from India.
my parents are from India. I was actually born in England,
Okay.
and I was only about 3 months
Okay.
old when we immigrated to Canada.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
my parents are from Punjab. Yep.
Yeah. So, is there a topic that you and I could relate to?
So, well, your work with children and teens, and my work with the South Asian community, we started discussing, negative Desi parenting or traditional parenting and how that impacts kids, teens, and how we see it in adults now still. So I think that's sort of how our collaboration came to be.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think that topic is really near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah. So, could you tell our viewers, our followers, what is Desi parenting? Because I had a poll, and many of there were Indians who said we don't know what's Desi parenting. So they know, but they don't know what is the actual thing. They feel that this is the right type of parenting, so they should have
Mm-hmm.
some idea that what is Desi parenting, and they go through it every day, but they still don't know
Yeah.
what is it. So, could you just throw some light on it?
Right. So we're we don't claim to be experts here, but what we've seen sort of in our clinical practice and experiences, and this is what we've come up with. So it's not an exhaustive list by any means, but Desi parenting or traditional parenting. So, for example, we see refusing to give our children praise. So we see a child doing well in track and meet, but the kids, parents really want kids to play soccer, for example. And so then they don't get the praise for coming in first for, their 100-meter sprint, for example. So that is one, right? Just not giving praise. Or we see, sort of continuous criticism and judgment, right? So a child gets 95% on their math test. And often we hear parents say, well, where's the other 5%? What happened to the other 5%? And not celebrating that the 95 they did get. So, kids start to feel like they don't do anything right. So comparing other kids, with other kids or with family friends or cousins even. So, oh, Shabnam Auntie's son got this medal for, academic achievement. Why can't you bring something like that home? So the message, sort of becomes, I don't measure up and I'm not good enough. So, we think that we're encouraging our children to do better and push them to do better, but we don't sometimes understand the negative consequences of that and in our approach as well. So, or even playing favorites among siblings. So usually we see this with sons versus daughters, not all the time, but just in general. So sometimes, one child becomes the trophy child and all the others get compared to that child, right? So it leads to a lot of resentment. And I think it really breaks down some of that, the closeness kids might feel growing up. Yeah. This one, tough love. That's, sort of discipline is for their own good, and, it'll teach them to navigate the big bad world, and, they won't make mistakes. But that's the unfortunate part, is they're not able to sort of make mistakes and learn from them and grow. They're sort of, it's so strict because we don't want them to make the mistakes. It's natural as parents, we want to protect them, but I think it really affects their ability to sort of learn from those mistakes and learn to problem solve and learn to use their own judgment. Guilt tripping, we see this a lot I see it in my practice, sort of making kids feel like they owe their parents for putting a roof over their head or feeding them, or, we raised you for all these years, so now you owe us, right? I think it leaves kids afraid to make decisions. It's afraid to use their voice and their opinion, and that whole sense of self and building autonomy. So I think kids struggle with that. The other one of my favorites, ultimatums. So you must get into medicine, or you must go to this university, because you owe us, or will be shamed. I can't show my face in society. What will I say, to the family or to the community? So that leaves children like never sure of themselves and walking on eggshells all the time. And lastly, that the lack of emotional support. So not being able to talk about feelings, not showing emotions, not acknowledging them. And, things like boys don't cry, don't be such a girl, man up, those sort of ideas, I think right there halts the expression of emotion and normalizing that. So we don't learn to talk about emotion, we don't learn to show it or be vulnerable. And then it affects, I think, all of our interactions in life. Yeah. So that's sort of Desi parenting in a nutshell.
Yeah, I could resonate with this, and I'm sure all the kids and teens will say, "Hey, this happens to us."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's a, in short, a lot of things put in. Actually, we can go on, and this topic will not end for sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so this happens in which community would you say? I mean, what would you say, which community you can see this a lot?
To be honest, I've seen it in all Indian communities. Like I've had Gujarati clients, Hindu clients, Punjabi clients, Bengali clients, like a smiley. Like I think it happens in Indian community in general.
Yeah, I agree. Indian Catholics also have it. I mean, we have it a lot, especially I am
Yeah.
I am a Mangalorian from Karnataka. So
Mm.
we are you if you go and find out the most educated people of Karnataka, all Mangaloreans, Hindus and everybody. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this thing has become a big obstacle also in their life. So yeah, I agree. It's part of the Indian community overall. So
Yeah, like one of my clients said she's a South Asian Catholic,
yeah.
right? But still the same sort of dealing with all these issues.
Yeah, it's the one whole mentality part of India, you can say.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why we call it, Desi parenting or the traditional parenting.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a part of our first segment. So thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you all got an idea what is Desi parenting. So stay tuned for the second segment. Thank you,
Yes.
everybody.
Thanks for joining, everyone.